What's up guys, welcome to the channel. Thank you so much for being here. Today we're going to talk about why most men fail to approach women on a daily basis. And to be honest, if you didn't see the previous video where I talk about the importance and the urgency of approaching women on a daily basis, something every guy must do, it's a must, it's mandatory, then have a look at the end of this video or in the description below. I'm going to link the video for you to watch. The reason why a lot of men fail to approach is because usually they extract negativity from that specific outcome. And the biggest problem we have in society that no one talks about actually is the fact that us men, we don't know how to process our emotions. We actually don't even understand what emotion is. I was looking at some pickup channels and a lot of guys wanted a video on storytelling, for example. So let's talk about this for a few seconds. What exactly is storytelling when you want to talk to a woman and you feel like you don't have any topic or ways to connect with her? So besides the normal discussions about jobs and passions and whatnot, you do have stories in your life, you have events that happened, you have a story, you're a person yourself. And when it comes to storytelling, what we mean by that is you need to bring emotion into that story. And so what's the saddest reality that you can face right now? Go in front of the mirror and try to do this exercise. Try to say a phrase like, for example, I took a shit in the garden. Let's just, for the sake of being funny, yeah? I took a shit in the garden. And go in front of the mirror, take a look at yourself, look yourself into the eye, and try to say this with different emotions. So say this phrase as a funny guy, say this phrase as you're depressed, say this phrase with an emotion of fury or anger as you're pissed on someone. Try to say it in all sorts of emotions. Most probably you will face a lot of resistance when you try to do this. Some of you will actually do it because you know you're with yourself. Your ego will tell you, oh, it's just us, it's safe. But some of you are not going to be able to do even that. And these persons that can do it in the mirror with themselves are not going to be able to do it when there is people around. Hence the fear of being judged in public. So I just want to address the fact that there are some reasons why most men fail. And there are some reasons why 5% of the men of this planet will get the 95% of women, and we need to understand and address that. Because if you do acknowledge the main reasons behind this, well, that's what self-healing means. That's what getting wiser means, to understand the reality of what's happening behind the scenes, so to speak. So before we proceed with the video, I just want to thank you all guys that commented on the last video. I didn't know about your existence, your presence, because obviously if you don't comment, I don't know who are the viewers of this channel. So I encourage you to comment further on. Thank you so much for that. The feedback was amazing, and it's a pleasure for me to get to know you guys. And before proceeding with the video, I just want to mention the fact that we released the Unleash Your Potential online course. We had a problem with the last website, so we did a new one. Basically, you can access it easily right now. Payments shouldn't be a problem. I know you struggle with that. So I highly encourage you either to do coaching or have a look at the online course. It's especially made for you, and it's especially on this topic of processing your emotions, because that's the #1 reason why we can't connect with women and why it's a struggle. So moving on with the video, when I just started in approaching women, obviously I struggled a lot. I didn't know what I was doing, and I wasn't that fortunate as you are right now that you have a mentor and comes and talks to you and tells you exactly what to expect. No, I was alone. There wasn't even internet at that specific moment. I'm 32 years old right now. When internet came up, there was basically a blog or two. There wasn't YouTube. There wasn't anything. And so it was very, very hard for me to push myself through the action. Obviously, 3-4 years later, some pickup company appeared on the internet. It was a bit easier because I tend to understand what I tend to understood what they were saying. But once again, you are struggling because when you're on the field, your coaching mentor is not over there. So obviously you will have to deal with your emotions, your fears, and whatever comes up by yourself. And this is the key reason why you want to do this by yourself, because everything that you do in connection to some sorts of help, like having a friend that you approach with, you will develop a fake confidence. This is how we call it, because now you're confident in approaching women because you're getting permission from your friend, or you're getting motivated by his speech, which leaves you once again with a fake front, because when that friend is not over there, it's going to be impossible for you to approach because you're alone and you will be dependent on the presence and permission of your friend. There's a lot of pressure on us guys, as we have a tendency to be a provider. We provide for the women we care about, we provide for the kid, we provide a sense of stability and security, and that comes with a lot of pressure because life is not always peachy. In fact, for a guy that has come into this world and has no fucking value, it's gonna be incredibly difficult for him to develop that skill and that value. So a guy, assuming that he has the parents that can actually point him in the right direction, he will struggle a lot in building those values and his self-esteem and whatever he represents. So what happens to a guy such as myself that has the parents, the most awful parents, which basically didn't want him on this world, and basically they got divorced because they were fucked up between them, and then when they left, they basically forgot about me. And at the age of 15 years old, I was by myself living with my grandmother, which has died 6 months later, and then I'm just a kid in a house, and now I'm hiding from the police because they could easily take me, because you can't sustain yourself, you don't have any income coming, so you need to go to the orphanage or something, that's the law. So here I am with no specific indications on how am I supposed to manage life and how am I supposed to build an empire, or what the name Andrew stands for, or European Social Dynamics. So basically what happened, I was very, very fortunate. I think God was in the house with me at that specific moment, because there's a message coming from my friend. He's like, let's go into the city, let's have a drink, let's just fuck with life, I'm like, well, it's the last money I have in my house. You know what? I'm already depressed, I'm already fucked up, so let's just go out. And basically we have to cross this park to get to the bar where we wanted to have a drink. And in this park, I'm looking at this guy cold approaching a girl and talking to her as if he knew her for the past 10 years of his life. And I am shocked, I am amazed, and also I am feeling all sorts of fucked up emotions. I was extremely envious, I was angry with him, with myself, even with the girl. I was so frustrated because deep down I knew that this guy can do it and I can't. And all of a sudden I was competitive and I was pissed off basically. However, I was lucky enough because when I saw that, I felt it in my heart, and the voice of God, I think, spoke through me and told me, Andrew, I don't know how, because there was no internet, I didn't remember that. I don't know how, but one day you will become an expert at this and you will help men all around the world to develop these skills. I heard that voice, and then from that specific moment, I started approaching. I struggled a lot, and basically for the past 16 years of my life, from 15 to 31, I'm going to 32, basically that was my center of attention. And so pickup or approaching women or understanding myself, the reason why I'm doing this, what am I feeling over there, basically saved my life, gave me an anchor point that became my objective, my general objective, and gave me a lot of beautiful emotions when I was ending up with women that actually cared about me, wanted me, offered to pay for my trips, and all sorts of stuff led to a beautiful life. So this is why I encourage you on this channel to become good at game, and this is why I need you to understand how important it is. So coming back to the video, obviously because we don't know how to process our emotions, and we can safely assume that us men, most of us, if not all of us, have our emotions fucked up, because 99% of us came from a family that was already fucked up. Well, because we don't know how to process these emotions, we don't know how to read them, how to understand them, how to even acknowledge them. Well, we will go basically in this society, in life, and when we approach women, and we will try to compensate for that. Basically, the reality is we have a very fucked up low self-esteem. We build a fake front and a fake confidence, and we basically try to hide that or portray that as being real. And that is the common issue. And that's the reason why a lot of guys feel disappointed when game doesn't work. Now, the reason game doesn't work is because you're coming from that low place in your life. And the reason it's not working, it's because you're trying, you're needy, you're trying too much. You're putting the girl on a pedestal. You think of yourself as a lesser creature. So basically, you're punching yourself every single day. When you approach women from a very nasty place, like a self-hate place, well, that energy will project onto that person. You need to remember one thing. When you approach a woman, she doesn't know anything about you. She will read whatever you project. She will feel whatever you feel about yourself. And that leaves us to the next point. A lot of guys, when they do approach, the very first thought they have is that the girl is going to reject them. And guess what? Because that's what they project, they get rejected. Because they rejected themselves before even approaching. So it all comes down to energy, because seduction is energy. Your energy can be clean or can be dirty. You know it's dirty when you're not where you wanted in life. You know it's dirty and messed up when you're not achieving the things that you want, when you're not getting that girl, you're not getting your financial freedom. So that leads me to the next point. There are a lot of parts in you, the real parts, that are telling you every single day it is not normal to be an employee. It is not normal to go to a job 10 to 12 hours a day, you sleep another 8, you take a shit and you take a shower, and then you're left with 2 to 3 hours to work on yourself. Where you're tired as fuck, how exactly are you gonna work on yourself in those 2-3 hours? And society is raising those standards, like you need to be fashion, you need to be a bit ripped in the gym. You have all these standards. It's a decision for you if you want to follow them or just fuck them up. But however, competition does exist. And for example, if you're overweight, you will lose most definitely in front of a guy that is not overweight. Depends obviously a lot about the woman in your life. If she's superficial, then obviously she's gonna look at the physical body type, and then obviously when a guy with abs comes, she will be aroused and she will feel the need to fuck him because obviously he's better looking than you. Then once again, fashion comes into this discussion. If he's well dressed, your woman will look at him because you dress as fuck. So this is another common issue I see a lot of people. In fact, Romanian people are terrible when it comes to fashion. Romanian men, to be more specific. So Romanian women are feeling so disgusted when they see these guys with their fashion all over the place. And trust me, I thought Romanian men are terrible when it comes to fashion until I met some American guys. And I've seen the fashion over there, which is 10 times worse than what I thought would be the worst in this world. So understand, because we are a superficial society and we need to, we judge very fast. Then your first impression is very important. So the reason why you want to be fashionable is because first of all, you will raise your self-esteem. Tells you something about yourself. You will respect yourself. And second, because people judge you so easily and so fast. And so if you want to have bigger chances with women, why not take the extra 2% by increasing your fashion and obviously allowing yourself an extra chance when you talk to her? And so that leads me to the next point in which men usually fail on a daily basis. So because they are feeling very negative inside, they are throwing with a lot of self-hate. They don't know how to process their emotions. They don't even acknowledge what their identity is. Well, because of that, they have a weak character, which means they are going to quit extremely fast. And in games, we have different levels. And so, for example, if you're a beginner, you want things extremely fast, you have an objective, an agenda, and then you do 2 approaches, you hope you get married or something like that. It doesn't end like that. And now you're pissed, you're frustrated, and you just give up. But that's because you don't have an intention. You don't have a clear intention to what your purpose is. So when you wish for something, you're basically saying you don't have it. So because you come from that scarcity and that point of that place of lack in your life, well, that's exactly what you're gonna attract. You can only attract what you are. And so that becomes a place where guys run towards women and it's not the opposite. Women should be running towards you. Women should be chasing you. You're not chasing the women. So you can, yes, this exists. You can approach women in a way that you're putting yourself out there, but it has to, you got to make that switch where now she is running and chasing after you. So this is what's happening because guys have low self-esteem. They think of them, they belittle themselves. They think of themselves as being not worthy and blah, blah, blah. Basically, they will chase after that woman and it doesn't even matter what she does because for him, everything is perfect. So guys become people pleasers and nice guys. They will always end up in the friend zone. They will always end up as being left alone because there is a catch to being a nice guy and a people pleaser. You think to yourself that you do it from a beautiful perspective of just loving people around you and blah, blah, blah. However, the honest truth and the honest reality behind it, you're not doing it because of that. You're doing it because you hope for something in return. And now because that is conditioned and you're basically proposing a transaction, people will run away from that because nobody wants someone that's needy and that's basically harassing them with their requests. And so with that being said, this is the number one reason why men fail to approach women on a daily basis because they get offended quickly, they take everything personal, everything is about them, and they complain about it instead of doing something. And then basically their RAS, their selective attention, gets fucked. And basically everywhere they look, they're like, oh, women are criminals, so difficult and angry nowadays. Pickup doesn't work, this doesn't work. It's very easy to go in a victimhood and simply complain about stuff. But remember, by doing this, you will basically go down into very deep depressions and you will be an insult to God and the universe itself because your purpose in life is eventually procreation and to give life forward and to leave something behind you. People will always remember you for what you left behind you. People will not talk about the way you used to feel on a daily basis. People will talk about the things that you've left behind, which might be a book or a contribution, you donated money somewhere, something about that, something in regards to that. They will not talk about how you felt every single day and what were your emotional issues and God knows what. So this becomes your job to investigate your emotions, to understand them, to process them, to become a guy that is so goal-oriented, that is so specific about the objective, that knows exactly how to go there. You must become very analytic and ask yourself, am I reaching my goal? How do I know that? How much is it going to take me? Can I live and can I love myself even if I don't achieve that specific goal? Can I live with that? And so with that being said, I just want to thank you for having the patience to listen to me. My English is not that very good. I feel a bit, I hope you can bear with me in those video clips. And so thank you so much for watching. Don't forget that liking this video is very important for this stupid platform's algorithm. Don't forget to comment because I don't know who you are if you don't talk to me. Leave some suggestions if you're interested in some specific videos or some specific problems you might have. Maybe you want to share some opinions or just hear my opinion on the topic. And also remember that I am very grateful if you go on EuropeanSocialDynamics.com where you find our online course. I cannot wait to hear your feedback on it, to see how it helps you. And also you have the coaching packages over there if you want to go into more specific details in terms of game. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.